And the most requested topic after that was around growth. You all must be already seeing a surge in job requirements around growth PMs, and even in job descriptions all across, you must be seeing growth as a key component. And that was one of the most requested topics for us as a community. That please do sessions around growth, around product-led growth, etc. So here we are. We thought, why not create a course specifically for product-led growth? And this is how things kick started. We have so many things coming up for you. So PLG, or product led growth, we'll keep referring to it as PLG because it's a shorthand for product led growth, and that is the industry acronym as well. So PLG is a live 6-week course which brings in growth leaders from across some of the best startups in the country, startups that I personally admire a lot, like Swiggy, Ola, Licious, Booking.com, and lots more. And we'll be covering a range of topics, right from, like you might be seeing on the screen, optimizing growth funnels to cracking retention, talking about experimentation, launching, and much more. Hands-on workshops and everything that you could expect to learn in product-led growth. And as we start this learning journey together, huge shout out to Mixpanel and Netcore for supporting us in this initiative. Like you all might know, our aim at TPF is to provide high quality learning and education in a completely free and accessible way to everyone, so that anyone can learn without any barriers. And partners like Mixpanel and Netcore support us in that initiative and fulfilling that goal. So it wouldn't be possible without Mixpanel and Netcore. So huge shout out to them for supporting us in putting this together.
Moving ahead, now let's look at how do you define product-led growth. And I'll take a very simple example so that everyone could relate to that particular example. Think of a kirana shop near your home, near your office, and imagine that if that person is operating a kirana shop, then what is the use case that he or she is trying to solve? Right. The first question that you should always try to answer is, what is the user need that your product is trying to solve? Right. In this case, if a kirana shopkeeper is there, then the user need that he or she is trying to solve is that if something runs out of the house, or if a user wants to top up his groceries or her groceries, wants a pack of Maggie or a ketchup, then he or she can quickly go there and get the groceries in time, right? So that is the user problem that a kirana guy is trying to solve, right? Then the second question that you should ask is, what is the total addressable base for this kind of a product? Now imagine if a kirana shop is near a house and it is covering, in the vicinity there are 1,000 households, then the total addressable market for that shopkeeper is 1,000 households, right? And then you would want to check what is the penetration for that particular service. Out of those 1,000 households, say only 100 are buying from him or her every month, then the shopkeeper's penetration is only 10%. He has only penetrated 10% of the market. There is 90% of the market still to be penetrated, because every household would need a grocery service, right? They would need, I'm assuming that there are no other players, right? Every household has a grocery need, and hence the total addressable market was 1,000. They are serving only 100 households. The TAM remaining is 90% for that shopkeeper, right? Now let's move one funnel down. How do users know about that shop? What are different channels that the shopkeeper can do to make people aware about that particular shop, right? In this case, it could be a simple pamphlet distribution exercise, right? Distributing pamphlets across all the households, right? So that could be one initiative. The second initiative could be a referral program. If I have went to that shopkeeper and I've bought something from him or her, he says that, could you refer someone and tell them that there is a 20% off if they buy very first time from me, right? So that is how awareness can be harnessed, right? After awareness comes that if a user enters the shop, now imagine you are entering that kirana shop, then how will the shopkeeper ensure that you convert, that you make a purchase? And that becomes really important. So things like, okay, ensuring that the right assortment is there. So if I need a Maggie, then I should find Maggie in that store. If I need a particular lace packet, then I should find that particular lace packet in that store. How does the shopkeeper behave, right? Does he try to tell me that, okay, these are new launches for different chocolates that I might be interested in? So that helps in ensuring that conversion is happening. And the last leg is, how do you ensure that your user is always engaged and almost comes to you every time they have a use case, right? And that is where your loyalty program comes in. That is where your gamification comes in. That is where engagement for a particular platform comes in, right? So this is how you need to think of product-led growth. A classic example that probably most of you might know or might be able to relate is a BlackBerry example, right? BlackBerry became a rage sometime a decade ago, I think, right? Everyone was so gung-ho about, okay, this is this phone which has a keypad and it has so many keys, etc., etc. Right? There was a community also. I don't remember the name of that community, BB something, right? Wherein they can easily message to each and everyone. It became a rage of a product, almost took market share from all other manufacturers. But what they did was they never innovated with times, right? Apple came up with a touch screen phone, and many other players came up with a touch screen phone, and BlackBerry said that no, this is our USP. We'll continue to ensure that we will remain a keypad a device, right? And they eventually lost the plot, right? Now no one even remembers the name of BlackBerry. So what is important, even if you hit a product market fit, you need to continuously evolve yourself, keeping only two lenses: user needs and how the competition is evolving. And hence, you can never sleep. You always need to be awake, understand what, how users' needs are changing, and competition. Right.
And if suppose like I think you started your growth journey with Growthers as well. So for folks who want to start their journey either to become a growth PM or maybe get better at growth as a product manager, are there some mistakes maybe you would have avoided or things that worked well for you?
So
Any
I,
tips for
so
yeah,
see, the most important, and I have made that mistake, right? I can raise my hand in 2015. That was my doing, and some of my colleagues at Grofers, that we thought that a 90-minute model on marketplace would work. So we never had a consumer insight team, or we never did a consumer research before launching that product, right? In 2015, we were
yeah,
very bullish that okay, this is the need of the market, and let's try and solve that. So never do that mistake. Always try to first understand the customer or user insight or need, then only build your product.
right,
That is the most important thing. And these things work on first principle, guys. It'll not change a lot, right? So the more you understand your user better, the better you will be at making good products. Right?
yeah,
So that's the
absolutely.
most important learning, at least I would say. And it's very simple. It's very, very simple, right? Just talk to your consumers as often as you can, and you'll be good at your job.
What's the right time to focus on growth? I'm pretty sure once you start building a product, that is not when you start thinking about growth. So, what's the right time to think about
So,
growth, and what is the perfect, how do you quantifiably define that, threshold where after this I'll start focusing on growth?
so see, people definitely mix growth in terms of uh, increasing revenue share or increasing user share, right? So that mistake one should not do. Although growth essentially means that you're seeing that curve, right? But growth starts much before in figuring out what is that stage wherein you will start pumping in marketing investments, etc. So when I said product market fit, that is when the growth charter actually starts, right? Just to give you an example, right? Licious is an amazing product. It's an amazing meat product, right? But Licious is not an FMCG company, right? It's not a Hindustan Unilever. It's also a delivery company. It needs to ensure that when someone orders XYZ product from Licious, you need to deliver it in such a better way that the experience is awesome. The product or the platform, which is the app or the website, needs to function in the best of the capabilities. So there you are fighting not only with, you're fighting with almost Swiggy's of the world, Zomato's of the world, right? On delivery experience, again, you are fighting with Zepto's of the world and Blinkits of the world, right? So what I'm saying is growth starts in figuring out the product market fit, irrespective of what your stage is. At Licious, we don't believe that we have had the product market fit. We have not cracked the product market fit yet. So we are still continuously innovating and ensuring that how do we ensure that our retention is north of 70% on a month-on-month basis. In fact, it's 80% month-on-month basis, right? That is when you say that, okay, growth will come on its own. Right?
Right.
So don't mix the growth aspect with the time wherein you say, now I can pump in money or I can pump in marketing investments or product investments to increase my revenue. The
Right.
validation should be, is my retention north of 70% for a B2C player? For a B2B player, it will be much higher, right? Is my organic acquisition growing on its own? Or my word of mouth is solid? Till that time, you continuously need to go to the drawing board, ensure whether you need to change something on your service levels, and then again launch the MVP to your users.